Well, hello everybody. It's Ronnie with Whip and Chain, coming back to show you how to make a fun little crocheted snowball, something that you can do for the kids in the house. Just be careful if you're going to be throwing them around the house. They could knock down light lamps, figurines, little stuff. So just be careful. But what I like about them is I made a couple different versions. I made this one. I made with the Bernat blanket yarn. It's really soft. I don't overfill them, that way they're nice and squishy. And it only takes a few minutes, but this, there's the size of my hand. Here's a tape measure that I have. So the width is probably about 4 inches, give or take. But this is with the blanket yarn. This one I made with just 2 strands of acrylic yarn, 4-ply. And this one, 2.5, almost 3, not quite 3. But there's the size of it in my hand. Here's the 2 different sizes. I'm partial to this one, but you know, for little hands, maybe you want something a little smaller. And then this one, I'm not pleased with this one at all, but it's really small. This one is 2¼ inches. And this one I just made with chunky yarn. So now you can see the difference. Now this one's 2 strands of 4-ply acrylic. I used a sparkly white and a regular white. This is just with chunky yarn, number 6 chunky. And this is with Bernat blanket. So like this is the chunky yarn and the Bernat. You can see the major difference. It's the same stitches, everybody. Same amount of stitches. I even used the same hook, and that's what I don't like. The holes are a lot more. So Bernat blanket, chunky, and 2 strands at the same time of acrylic 4-ply. All right, let's get started on this. It's a really fun project and it's really fast. What you're going to need, you're definitely going to need a stitch marker because we're going to do this in rounds. So I'd get a stitch marker. I don't know where my blanket yarn white is, so I'm just going to do it in the gray, which is fine, which is cool because if you know you want to make a set for, you have multiple kids, you can put a stripe of a different color in there. You can make them a totally different color so they know whose snowballs are whose if you want. Just a thought. You'll need a pair of darning needles, pair of scissors, and a crochet hook. Okay, if I can read, I think this is a 7. Yes, ma'am, it is a 7. So you'll need your crochet hook, stitch marker, scissors, darning needles, and your choice of the yarn that you would like to use. Okay. All right. Oh, and you'll need a little stuffing. I apologize. All right, now I start with a magic ring. They are one of my favorite go-tos lately. If you want to start with a chain, you can chain 3 and slip stitch into the first stitch, okay? But I'm doing a magic ring. So, but you do have your choice on what you want to do. Okay. So, hook in there, come through, and chain 1. All right. Oh, I think I did it wrong. I love when you guys get to see that I have to redo some things because it just makes it that we're all human. And chain 1. Okay. So in this space, I want you to put 6 single crochets, but with blanket yarn, if that's your choice, Stitches are hard to see, so what I do is after I do my first single crochet, see, it's already hard to see. I go right in there and I mark it so I know where I'm at. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. It's a second cup of coffee day for me. Anyway, so just taking off a little yarn so I don't have to scrounge for it. Now, if you did the magic circle, I wouldn't close it all the way yet. I pull it in a little bit, but I would not. I wouldn't recommend you pulling it all the way in. So for the next round, what I do is I put my hook in that stitch before I remove my stitch marker. Then we're going to be putting 2 single crochets. You want to come in a little closer in each stitch, okay? So that's 1. Now I want to put another single crochet right in that same stitch. With blanket yarn, a lot of this is just feeling your stitches. So that's 2. Next stitch. 3. Well, I count to 12 because it's 2 single crochets in every stitch. Okay, that's 4. 5 and 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Do not slip stitch. We're doing this in rounds, okay? So now you should have 12 stitches. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first one and then 2 in the next. So it'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way around. And then you'll end up with 18 stitches. So let's put the first one in. And like I said, I always put it in right away. So I don't lose where I'm at. So that's 1 in that one, and 1, and 2. Okay, then 1, and 2. And 1, and 2. 1, and 2. 1, and 2. And 1. And you will end up, your last stitch should be, if you did it correctly, an increased stitch. Okay. Now it's the time to pull that tight. Don't, if you're using blanket yarn, don't pull real tight because this can snap. So just lightly tug it till it's closed, okay? I like to take the yarn off because I don't want to lose my counts as I'm doing it. And we all have our own routines. Okay, we're going to do one more increase row. All right. So now this increase row will be 2 singles in each. One, first stitch 1 single, next stitch 1 single, then an increase of 2. So it'll be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 all the way around, okay? All right, so that's my first. And then I think I keep losing you guys. Here we go. I'm trying to be aware that I'm in the center of the screen for you. So that was 1. Then another 1. And then 2. Here we go again. It'll be 1. 1. And then 2. It'll be 1. 1. 2. That'll be 1. 1. It'll be 2. One. 1. 2. 1. And the last, you'll end with a decrease again. Okay. Now, we don't need to worry about our tails because when the ball totally forms, when we fill it, we can just tuck our tail right in there. Not a big deal. Now we're going to do 3 rows of stitch to stitch. So no increases, no decreases, 3 rows of even stitches. So I'm going to put my crochet hook in there before I take that out. And there we go. So just 3 rows of matching stitches. You should have 24, but if your count's off by 1 or 2, it's a snowball. It's really not worth getting yourself all worried about it. We have a potential this week here where I live. It's just a potential of maybe a white Christmas this year. They said it hasn't snowed in our area for Christmas time since 2009. So I think that's actually really cool. I would really enjoy seeing some snow. I am a person that loves snow. I get excited like a little kid that watches the television to watch the weather, to see if they've said any more about it or if they're just watching it. Yep, I'm a big kid at heart with snow. So I am finishing up my first row of 3 of them. Okay, let me take off a little more yarn. This is a good scrap yarn project. If you want. My girlfriend Maggie was telling me they throw these at each other all year round at their house. So, yeah, something. Think about if you have a safe room where nothing can get broken for your kids or whatever. Some fun without having to be connected to an electronic item. It's kind of nice. Getting used to working with this yarn, the blanket yarn, takes a little time and patience because the stitches are truly hard to see sometimes. A lot of it is feel. It's always nice to have stuff at the ready for a quick, this could be like a novelty gift. You make like 6 of them and you put them in a nice little plastic bag and put a bow on it for that one person you might have forgot to do a gift for. Because we've all been there. And now this is the 3rd row. Excuse me, I had a sneeze. right. Now, a lot of you probably are faster crocheters than me. Probably already got your 3 rows done. But I am not a fast crocheter. And I've just learned to be okay with that. All right. Now, after you get your 3 rows of stitch to stitch done, now you can tuck that in. And if you want, before you do that, just stretch this a little bit at the end to make sure it gets a round bottom. Now we're going to do some decreasing. So I want you to put your stitch, your crochet hook in your first stitch and put 1 single crochet, and then put your stitch marker back. And now I want you to put another single crochet in the next stitch. Now the next stitch we're going to decrease. So I want you to take your hook, put it in the stitch, grab some yarn, and come on out. Then go into what would be the very next stitch and do that again. Put it in, grab some yarn, and come on out. And you'll have 3 loops on your hook. I want you to wrap and go through all 3. And then we do a single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet in the next stitch, and then we'll do another decrease. Okay, so it's 1, 2 stitches, wrap, go all 3. Okay. Not that bad. Single crochet, single crochet, and I ran out. Okay. Single crochet, single crochet. Now grab 1, go in the next stitch and grab, and a decrease. Okay. So regular single crochet in the next 2, then a decrease. Look at that. Single crochet, single crochet, and a decrease. Single crochet, single crochet, and then your last 2 stitches should be a decrease. Okay, and it looks like I missed a stitch, and that's really okay. So you're gonna see me put in just a single crochet. See, I'm not sweating it. Now the next row, I want you to put your hook in. I want you to bring them out and put in 1 single crochet. But that last row you should have ended on a decrease. If that's what you did, that was correct. Mine was not. But I'm not removing everything to do that. Okay? So 1 single crochet. Next one, just do a decrease. Okay? Single crochet. Then a decrease. Single crochet, then a decrease. 1, 2. Single crochet, and then a decrease. Single crochet, then a decrease. Single crochet, and then a decrease. And there's my lonely 1 extra stitch that I got. Now, You can take your stitch marker out because you're not going to really need it anymore. And you put that off to the side. All right, I keep bumping the camera today. Now I want you to take some fill and fill your snowball. Now I'm going to recommend, remember the tails in there? Don't have to worry about hiding that. That you don't make it really like overfull where the snowball's hard. Make it where it's pliable and they can squish it. And make sure your fill is all the way in. That way when you're crocheting, it doesn't get caught up in your stitches. Yeah, that's plenty for me. Okay, so now once you got your snowball filled, I want you to just do decreases. Let's do, let's start out with 5, and I think we're gonna end up needing 8, but let's see. Ready? So every stitch is gonna be a decrease. So there's 1. Okay. It's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Now I don't want you to do this where there's no opening left because it'll give you a point on your end. So depending on the type of yarn you use will dictate how many times you gotta join stitches until you see that it's pretty much covered. Okay, I did 7 and I'm very comfortable with 7. So I am gonna slip stitch into my next stitch and go through. Cut my yarn. Okay, see it's only a little bit left open. Then I'm going to take my needle okay. And I'm going to track in the same direction that my yarn I was crocheting to shut this. After it's closed, I'm going to just hide my yarn tail. Going through. And when I'm comfortable, I'll cut it. And here it is. It's still soft. There are 2 different types of blanket yarns, but that's okay. Here they are. Turned out really nice. I like the blanket yarn a lot more personally, but that's all you have to do to make your snowballs for the kids to have some fun. Indoor snowballs. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. I hope you learned how to make a snowball. Thank you. Bye-bye.